All right, so something a little different today. We are in the old shop. The guys are over there killing it. I got my Akrapovic aftermarket exhaust. We're gonna put on the old Versys here, get rid of that big old heavy giant can on there, and get some flow. So if you guys watched my videos before that have the bike in it, you know I did an ECU flash on this already and put the aftermarket air cleaner in there. So the exhaust is gonna complete the whole flow of the system. I also have some factory fog lights that I'm going to install later, but that is a way more involved process than doing this exhaust, believe it or not. So anyway, I guess the first thing we'll do is get a sound profile so we can compare the before and after. But I mean, you can just so yeah, let's do that. Alright, so now I guess the next thing is to soak up that little puddle that's right there so I don't sit in it. Then I want to crack these flange bolts. Well, they're still nice and warm. I'm gonna take this stuff off here so we can get to the back bolt on the exhaust hanger to get it off. The key to this is going to be to slide it off without rocking it, because inside an exhaust, if you guys don't know, there's usually copper crush washers, exhaust port seals in there. So I don't want to rock it and ding them. I thought this kit might come with new ones, but it didn't, and I didn't order any. So we're going to try our best not to mess those up. I think these flanges may be a little deeper than the original flanges, and they're also going to be a little bigger. So hopefully it should still seal and we won't have a problem. It doesn't matter. I can install the exhaust, and it's on springs. So if I got to pop it off and swap those out later, order some later, I can do that with no problem. Because the flanges are separate from the actual pipe. They just go in there and then they go on with springs. So that should be pretty cool. Another big key to doing an exhaust is this never seize. You want to put this on the O2 sensor so that if you have to change things out later, you can get the O2 sensor back out. And also on the flange bolts. Otherwise, from getting hot and cold, they stick on there pretty good and you end up pulling the stud out instead of getting the actual nut out. So we're going to do that. And we can probably put just a little touch of never seize inside of here to make sure everything seals up nicely. Because I have to keep this stock exhaust so that if I end up exporting this bike back to the States, when I go back to the States, I can put that back on and be all nice and legal to get through customs. So let's get those cracked, get that side panel off, and rock and roll. Let me get some gloves before I burn my fingers on this exhaust. All right, so we succeeded there. The studs didn't come out, luckily, because this bike's only a few years old. I've done this on 20-year-old bikes that are just an absolute nightmare to get the frickin' things out. They're all corroded and rusted, and you end up pulling the studs out or breaking one of the studs off. Woo! So what I did was just pull them to the top of the threads so that now they'll come off easily. You don't want to leave, I didn't want to leave some of the bolts sticking out because then I would have to fight the dirty threads. So I got them all the way down until we got clean threads. So there's that. Because these flanges are different than these flanges. And I'll show you the difference when we get the thing off. I'll show you what's up. So now we got to get this panel off. He's laughing at my shirt. He's laughing at my Chinese shirt because they don't make shirts that fit me here. Yeah, they only make them in the extra large. They make them like a tent, but they don't make them any longer, and they don't make the arms any longer or any bigger. So my arm just barely fits in this freaking shirt. But that's why I'm wearing this shirt today, because it sucks and I'm rolling around on the ground. So if anything happens to it, I'll just throw the damn thing away. My guys are awesome. They fucking kick ass. So yeah, it is super hard for me to find clothes that fit me in China. It is what it is. All right, so now that we got all that loose and off of there, you can see we can now access the hanger bolts. And it looks like they go back and forth. So I may have to take this off the other side too in order to slide that hanger bolt out of there. It looks like this one will come out this way, but that one has to go the other way. I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna get a zippy tie and hold this up out of my way. All right, I seriously doubt if you guys can see in there, but as I suspected, that is not gonna slide out of there without taking that other side off. Oh boy. All right. Well, might as well get this panel off too. All right. So there is that side panel off. I noticed that this stock exhaust has like a hanger on it. There may have been a way to get it out without doing this, but the problem is, see, it's right behind that panel. I don't think there's any way to pull this bolt out. without taking that side panel off. No freaking way. Plus, we got to get the new bolt back in there when we put the new one on. So there's that. Okay, so now we got that one out. There's a second bolt here that has a capture nut on the back of it. That is a 12 millimeter. We're just gonna break that loose a little. And then I'm gonna go back and take these flanges off so it's kind of supported. Then pull that off and see if we can slide it out of there nice and easy like past these brackets without dinging up our exhaust port gaskets. All right, so there we go. We got the flanges off. The other thing to be aware of if you decide to tackle this project yourself is be very careful not to bang your radiator. So, ooh, those are sliding out nice and easy like. Okay, I got them away from the gaskets already. Whee! So let's get this bolt out and see if we can slide her out without too much drama. The one thing I forgot was the O2 sensor. We need to unplug that so we don't yank the wires out of it. We'll be in deep shit. All right, so there's that, the O2 sensor. Pretty straightforward. Plugs in with the little clicker right there. No drama. Okay. It's routed through there, so we'll bend that out of the way so it doesn't get snagged. Hopefully it will come out of there. Without getting all messed up. Boom. So if you can see right in there, that's the little seals I was talking about. Looks like they're fine. I don't see a single ding in them. But after we get the new exhaust on, we'll check for leaks. No big deal. It is what it is. Tell you one thing, there is no way you're gonna get this O2 sensor off without unplugging it. It's way too many threads, way too much depth. So let's get this thing out from under there and see what we got. Okay. My shop mascot has arrived. I haven't seen him in days. Kiki. Kiki. He showed up one day with a hurt leg. So I took him in and fed him. We had a bed for him up there he used to sleep in. Looks like he still sleeps up there once in a while. I see a little, he creeps in through the wall over there. So, he's our cat. He's a cat, yeah. He's a kitty. How's my kitty? How's my kitty?
I'm the good boy. I'm the good boy. Easy, me. I'm the good key.
So here's what we have. There's the old monster. And there is the Akrapovic that's going in there. You can see the way the Cadillac converter is actually right here. The way these cans come together, how massive this is compared to our collector here. That's the key. Like, they do so much now. They do a ton of work on these factory exhausts, but they also have to meet all the emission standards and all that crap. They also do a ton of work on these aftermarket exhausts. That's why they're so expensive. That, and it's titanium. But you can see the difference in the routing of the pipes. So that's going to change the flow. See how smooth those pipes are and flowing into that collector? Where these have some sharper angles on them. That's the key to the exhaust and what's going to make the difference on how it flows. Not just in unclogging all the backup in here with the Cadillac converter and all the yards and yards of stuffing in that muffler, but the way the flow is routed all the way through. So there's that. We get our O2 sensor back in here. You want to make sure when you're doing an O2 sensor, I'm going to put this camera down here. To use some never sees. Otherwise, if you go to do anything, if there's something wrong with this O2 sensor down the road somewhere, you will play hell getting the thing out. Don't get the never sees in the little holes. Just get it on the threads. Because those holes are what pick up the fuel and oxygen flow. And what happens is there's little diodes in there that pick up the oxygen and fuel flow, and it actually makes a current, a voltage, an electric current, and that sends it to the computer to change your mixes up and down so that everything is running correctly with the ECU. So there's that. All right. So the way these flanges work are different from the stock flanges. These are the little flange gaskets I was talking about. And with the old exhaust, they sat inside the block in there. And then the exhaust flange went up against them and bolted down. But with the new one, we bolt these flanges on to the outside, and then the exhaust is held on with a spring. So I didn't bang these up any, and I was able to carefully pick them out with a little pick, because these are actually going to have to go inside of here now. But the thing is that they're copper, and they're like billowed when you get them, and then they smash in there. So we'll see how it works out. Should be okay. Like I said, I'll put a little never sees around the lip. Should help it seal. Alright, so now I'm gonna wipe any crud off these threads. Make sure they're nice and clean. And make sure our mating surfaces are clean. Which I shouldn't be dirty. because we just removed them. And then we're going to put a little bit of never sees on there. Just a dab will do ya. It'll walk itself around when we put the nuts on. With the flanges. We need our springs. Our hanger springs. And then that's a pain in the ass with the camera. Doing this all for you guys. Okay, so now our hangers go to this side. So we hook our little hanger spring. Flange goes on that way. So we want our spring on this side. Like so. Should put my gloves back on so I don't get never sees all over myself. And all we're going to do is just finger tighten these until we get the exhaust up in there and everything sits where it needs to sit. And then we will tighten them down. I want them to have just a little bit of play in them so that everything can seat correctly. There's that. Now we're gonna take just a wee bit of never sees on this little inside ring right here. So we can slide our copper gaskets in there and they will stay. Until we get the header up in there. So now I'm just going to push on here a little bit. Make sure they're in there good and flat.
just like so.
Beautiful. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna have to do here is take these apart. Finger hang this can first, and then put the header on and slide it into the can, man. Aí.
先搞一个，一个。OK。OK。
Whew. All right, we're looking good. All right, I actually don't know where I'm at, if I recorded that part or not. But we got the header up in there. Tapped her in with the rubber mallet. Got our springs hooked up. Now we tighten these flanges down. We don't have to go crazy with these. There is a torque spec on them. But it's not that super critical of a mating surface where like a liquid is gonna leak out. So I can feel pretty much equal pressure. After years of turning nuts and bolts across the board here. And I think we're good to go. Already tightened that one. Tighten the other hanger bolt on the other side. Plug in our O2 sensor. And see what we got. Let's see. Boy, that O2 sensor the wire just barely reaches. In that new position. All right, so here we go, fire in the hole. Fire in the hole. I don't hear any leaks. Got that packing grease smoking off of there. Oh yeah. That is freaking great. Woo. Breathing nicely, not too loud, just right. Just a little bit of throat and a little breathing. Not obnoxiously ear-shattering. Got to wear an earplug in my right ear when I'm going down the road. Loud. Let it run for a minute and heat up. And then I'll put everything back together and we'll do a final sound check, and then I'll do the sound comparison side by side, back and forth, so you guys can really check it out. Nice. Look how much cleaner that looks under there rather than that big giant can. Pipes are routed nice so you can get to the oil filter. My little jobber seemed to work there. I don't hear any exhaust leaks. Fabulous. Let me get her bolted up. All right, so there we go. She is all back together, assembled. Looks fantastic. It's nice and clean under there without that big old box hanging underneath there. Nice and streamlined. So let's give her the after test, the after comparison. Of course I already started it, but we'll get the camera up there so you guys can get a good judge of it. It's not obnoxiously loud, just added some bass to the music. I think it's perfecto. Perfecto mundo. Oh yeah.